Thank you very much, Trace. Vertigo Best of One, I think, is very interesting at this particular point because I'm sure lots of people are nerding about it, nerding it behind closed doors and trying to get their little advantages and so on. But I think that both these teams could be taken by surprise by something the other team has in the hole. So I think it could be dangerous for a best of one scenario. I'm sure they're both coming in with confidence. AVANGAR have got 3 players with smokes and Molotovs, save for Buster, who's got a flashbang instead of the molly. So there's lots of intention here from AVANGAR, playing it slow, and Renegades are patient.
Yeah, we've seen AVANGAR play this map online quite a few times, and they've definitely been fairly good at it. So that was right when it came out. So they've always put that attention on this map as it came into the map pool, looking for those edges. And I'm really curious as to what we will see from them. To get a molly on the sandbags, and must. That position is quite dangerous if the CTs were to be sneaky and hide someone there, but you can see that Renegades will slowly rotate towards this A bomb zone, starting to feel that presence, that threat's coming in from AVANGAR. Nice headshot from Key Kurtz. Will allow the bomb to go down. It would seem Jacob trying to get what he can, but doesn't have too much to work with. The smoke for him as well. And that's what we're talking about. AVANGAR with some great detail already to their Vertigo. Absolutely prepared.
That is quite an execute from AVANGAR. There's some utility for Renegades on a retake. There's a flashbang for Gratisfaction, the defuse kit as well, but they've got to get a lot of frags and they've got to get them quickly. AVANGAR have got some of the players far back, so it's going to have 2 guys on point, the other's watching the gap. Beautiful shot from Madren, and another headshot for him, and there's 2. Then there was 1. Liaz, the only man standing, he's got nowhere to go, nowhere to even reload his gun. That is quite the round from AVANGAR. That smoke on the top was beautiful.
Yeah, it was really nice. And that will set the tone as we progress through this one. This is a map where, you know, the set pieces can be pretty annoying to deal with, and there's a lot of room for creativity. I think some of the changes to the map have certainly improved things. It's been, you know, a few iterations. I think that very first iteration of the Vertigo was pretty rubbish, and then there's been so many changes since then. Can't even go through all of them.
Now the ladder is back.
Yeah, we've got the... I think that does help quite a lot, and we also have ourselves now Force Buy from Renegades, and they've managed to muster quite a few bits of utility here, so that's very important obviously on this map, because you need to be able to use that utility to kind of break the opponent's utility, as it's so efficient on the T side to be able to block off choke points forever. You've got to be able to find ways to play through them. Just gaining some ground here towards this A bomb side are AVANGAR. Made some steps though, so the Renegades know that there's a few players there. Molly to sandbags once again. It's methodical here from AVANGAR.
Renegades have held on to pretty much all their utility at this point. They've got a lot of smoke grenades. Are they for the retake? Are they for area control to try and ruin the timing of AVANGAR on the push? It seems that might be the latter. So AVANGAR have executed, but they've been held back by these smoke grenades of Renegades. It's quite interesting. A little variation to what we see in similar rounds on Inferno, for example. So now how AVANGAR deal with things, there's a lot of spray, a lot of harassment towards that position by the elevators, and Az is going to be the first one to fall. There's a Molotov from Liaz as well. You can see he's holding it. He's got it selected. It's highlighted a little whiter than his weapon, which means he's holding it out. With 20 seconds left, if it's on this bomb site, then how are they going to get the bomb down? Now, he's over towards B, actually, so that's not going to be relevant, but there are 3 players here for Renegades. AVANGAR still trying to push onto the site with 12 seconds to plant a bomb. Liaz making his way over. Won't get the molly in time, though. That would have been really interesting. And now he's the last man standing. Imagine if that was on the site. That would have been really interesting, but AVANGAR will somehow survive with all their players intact and plant the bomb. That looked really, really hairy, but maybe that will become more serious in rounds to come. So far, so good for AVANGAR. Yeah,
I think it's a really positive sign for AVANGAR as to how we've been seeing these rounds play out. You know, sure, Renegades haven't had any equipment to really fight with, but what really tells you about AVANGAR's comfort on this map is how methodical these approaches are, you know, the various phases that they run through as a team on their anti-eco or anti-force buy rounds, and how flawless it is. It really shows that they have a lot of routine and they've put a lot of work into this map leading into this major. So definitely, when we start seeing these proper buy rounds coming out, I'm really excited to see what Renegades will have to challenge them with, because they're certainly dealing with an opponent that can play this map to a high level.
Yeah, I'm sure the C-side adjustments, sorry, the CT side adjustments to execute, if they execute heavy AVANGAR, then I'm sure the CTs will be able to make a different approach, an improved approach with more information, with plenty of rounds to come. That will be quite curious. Liaz and Azza remain. Ooh, cold start for Liaz, it seems. Clipping the ears. There we go.
So only 2 kills from Renegades so far in all of these rounds.
That's not a good way to
That's
start.
pretty impressive from AVANGAR / very...
Yeah, especially that second round.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's just AVANGAR really shutting them down. As you say, they have the set pieces for days. Well, perhaps we'll get someone else on the board here for Renegades. Got the AWP out, full buy.
The Dren loves this ladder. He's a ladder man. Wooden ladders, Terry Tibbs. Sanji on the UMP. So AVANGAR really keeping the money together, and that shows me some confidence. Although he might not be the front man. Actually, you can see him swinging wide there. So his job might be to take a bullet at this point. Swing for Dren to do the work. Beautiful pop flash from Renegades. Again, a team where people have had lots of things to say about how they've been playing in the practices and so on. But now it's time to deliver. Buster being patient, taking his time, communicating. I've got a free kill. I'm going to make inroads towards B.
This is really nice. You can see that the utility on Renegades is starting to wane. We've only got 3 bits of utility remaining as AVANGAR make their ways towards A. So they're sort of trying to fake out Renegades. So Buster at some point might try to commit himself to try to get another kill on B and really sell this one. But the nades are starting to come in towards A. So surely Renegades are going to start to realize something's up here. And only 2 grenades left on AVANGAR, and they're on Buster as well. So we'll get a sneaky play. Moving up for the part now, and rotation's just about made its way in. And still the lurk from Buster still not really made its way in, so he's already going for the late lurk. Let's see if it pays off. It can be difficult to time that correctly. Ingrattus Faction will take down a Dren. This starts to apply the pressure onto AVANGAR's defense. Buster needs to come in sooner than later.
Yeah, he's just trying to catch up quietly without conceding his position, so he's made his first strike. The James taken out. Now it's a 2 versus 2. There's a Molotov for Buster if he can find an angle for it. JKS touching the bomb, kind of trying to draw out the players. Could it be some kind of double pick? Won't be necessary. Buster will get that 4th kill. So the first buy round doesn't go the way of Renegades. 4-0 for AVANGAR on their T side. There were a few more kills there for Renegades, but still not a hell of a lot, all things considered. 5 kills in 4 rounds. Which the main issue with that, of course, is if Renegades, there are so many variables after Renegades win a round, i.e. the number of players they win it with, how much they have to buy with afterwards, because AVANGAR are going to have at least 2 rounds of full buys afterwards.
Yep. It's
a lovely shot from Ingrattus Faction. I've enjoyed his presence since he joined Renegades. I like his style.
Oh yeah. When he joined, that was when everything turned around, it feels like. But I agree indeed that the frags are really important, because confidence is, if everybody's fragging and nobody's really dying, then everyone on your team, it feels more confident in their duels, and the emotional element that is confidence is pretty important when it comes to a game like this. It is an emotional game, like everything. Performance has that quality to it, so AVANGAR definitely in a place where, psychologically speaking, they're really in the zone. Everything is going according to plan. And it's Renegades that take the tactical timeout to perhaps cool down AVANGAR, as well as work out what they're going to do when they get themselves on that next big buy. They've already assessed that when they play their force buy, that they weren't really able to break through AVANGAR's set pieces. So what that really showed was that AVANGAR seems so tight towards actually hitting a bomb site. There didn't seem to be any opportunities, that is, for Renegades. That perhaps Renegades in a round like this need to make a more aggressive play to try to get to AVANGAR before AVANGAR gets set up that set piece. So they're probably thinking about that, as well as how much they want to invest here, because AVANGAR are so efficient, or at least they've shown that so far.
Yeah, Vanguard had the good flashes around this position. You see them bounce them off the wall in case of a fast play. There's flash I'm talking about, and you can see the CTs eating it immediately. So they're very aware of what might be possible, and I think they may have got some sound cues because they stopped shorter than they did in rounds prior. So I think they've got the sound information as to what's possible. Beautiful jiggle from Kika, moves back a little. He's got James to hold a superior angle. Gratisfaction may just creep into it. Oh, awkward timing. Doesn't want to take his teammates out, but he will trade the kill. And now he has a weapon to protect. If one of his teammates makes their way over, I suppose he could throw it down the lift shaft. But that's an issue for AVANGAR to deal with in the meantime, while trying to keep the CTs honest around the rest of the map.
Yeah, and that's a good change for sure. You know, getting a bit more aggressive, like we talked about. Their previous approach when they had that force buy round was to try to save the utility and to kind of retake the bomb site take of AVANGAR when AVANGAR eventually came into it. But here, of course, they realized let's try to make things a bit more difficult for them before they get to that point, and that's going to be a better approach. And so far, so good. Jacob playing by the sandbags there, and he's going to get himself a nice frag. Did he shoot all the way through the hole there? I'm not sure if that's what that was happening from Jacob's perspective. That looks pretty dirty with that Deagle. Now it's a 2 versus 3, or I should say a 3 versus 2 in favor of Renegades. So really causing problems here for AVANGAR.
Did he see the leg of Liaz? I think he must have. But this, just the shape of this bomb site is such a problem to deal with for either team, post-plant, pre-plant, either side. Buster holding things down 4 HP, so this is going to be really awkward. Adren's full health though, and if JKS prioritizes the scout, then that might be the difference maker, unless he lands a headshot. He's got to go for this. He's only got the scout on him. Nothing really to lose. Adren's moved away from the bomb site. There is no kit though for JKS, but if he picks up the AK-47, then who the hell knows? Buster's got the right angle. I see a sigh from JKS, expected more from that. Not the start they wanted. 5-0 for AVANGAR. Yeah,
Buster's playing pretty well right now, which is good to see. And generally from AVANGAR, we're seeing a level of focus that definitely does the occasion justice. Indeed, he was shooting through that little gap in the sandbags. That is very disgusting. But yeah, you can see that Buster here, the way that he's peeking everything, he's just trying to play it to perfection in terms of the most discipline, play the high CV spots, you know, just make sure that, you know, he's doing everything right. And I'm loving that kind of lethal focus we're seeing from AVANGAR still in this one.
Yeah, the way they're playing at the moment, I have some concern for Renegades, although we don't know what they have in the bag just yet. This is only their second full buy round, really. Let's see how long they hold this position for. This is a bad angle for Gratisfaction to go beyond because he's closer to the corner of the wall, which means that if James holding the right angle, he would see him first. But this faction is being run by Jacob running wide, but that's a high-risk situation. However, they're still delivering. Gratisfaction not shy, is he? Sanji taken out now, and this is going to just contain AVANGAR, not only in this position, but they're not going to get anything done. The bomb is sitting on the floor next to James, and then there were two. Adren's taken out elsewhere. So that is a huge success for Renegades, only losing one player now, 4 versus 2.
Yeah, pushing AVANGAR in a situation like this, it's not ideal. Oh man, that's not an easy one to hit. Respect for going for it. So AVANGAR, I think Jamin and Buster will go down with a ship in this round, but they need to make sure that they get a couple kills, make it really hurt. That's a really good objective to look for. It's going to be pretty high value moving forwards. If they can get another kill or two, and James working on that, he's going to be moving into a more forward position. He's using the utility to do that, and look at that. That's the opportunity afforded him. Liaz seemed to have no information that that was possible.
I think they're going for the round win. If you look at Buster's position, they were basically pinching the bomb site from either direction. Buster's got to deliver this frag. Now James is stuck in a position where he can't really plant the bomb, and there are too many CTs there. But Buster was creeping around the other side in the meantime, so they went 2 cannons, but only 1 cannon delivered. It was made a little more expensive. But who knows, if Buster gets that frag, who the hell knows what happens after that?
Surely the AVANGAR will speed things up now, just because they've played a really slow pace on a lot of these rounds. Renegades have adjusted, understanding that the weakness of AVANGAR is during the setup time. And so Renegades have been hitting them during their setup time around the map and these early timings. So that if AVANGAR went very quickly now, that could actually be a good way to exploit that approach from Renegades. But we'll see what their options are going to be looking like. James is going to go for the peak straight away towards the A ramps. So they are spreading out in a default fashion once again.
That's
a
great
work
answer.
Out for Adren, yeah.
It's a great answer from Gratisfaction. Again, when you're close to walls, spraying through it, the traitors will leave you more likely to be punished than the person further away. There's a lot of grenades to look at in the demo of this game so far. The T pistol execute from AVANGAR, the CT smokes down the ramp to delay the timing of AVANGAR. Again, they're not shy for a slow round, but with the successful aggression for Renegades, the wide swing, Gratisfaction just not being shy, battle sniper mode, that's going to slow things down because you never know when it's going to come. So maybe the risks taken in that round will pay off in the long run for Renegades as well as the short run.
Yeah, absolutely. However, AVANGAR have managed to get it to 50 seconds without losing somebody, and they have a lot of nades left still. And the double AWP change for Renegades, I'm curious whether this would be good for them or bad for them, given that they are a little bit less aggressive at this stage of the rounds, and AVANGAR are getting closer to a bomb site, looking like they're going to run this set piece on the A side once more, and it's going to work out. Kiko takes out JChem, and AVANGAR, we're seeing them at this late phase. They seem very strong when they're playing these timings, and it's looking really good for them. A 5 versus 3, the double AWPs of what remain, they're not going to be interested in retaking with this. And it seems once again, James, that if Renegades give AVANGAR too much space, then they struggle to hold them to the bomb sites, and it becomes terminal in the round at least.
There was a nice pop flash play there through the smoke. Didn't work on this occasion, however, for Azza. In the meantime, Adren was just holding the flank, holding any flank around that elevator position, I believe, on the other side of the map. Not do anything crazy, but he's been activated now to search a little, try and do some more damage, but not go too crazy about things. Again, at this point, AVANGAR needs to secure their own money as well, which is, so if they had like 5k plus per person, I think they'd be more inclined to chase the Renegades players down, but they're prioritizing their own economy. As long as they've got the money to execute, seems to be going fine. We've got a timeout here from Renegades, who are still at maximum loss bonus.
Yep.
Having won that round and getting reset. Not good reads on the faces.
Yeah. No, it's really interesting because they had so much success, even though of course they only got one round. But the point is that they found this timing where they were forcing duels and getting kills on AVANGAR, which effectively removes utility, removes the ability for AVANGAR to be strong in that late round timing where they go for their set pieces, and then Renegades sort of they go for the double AWPs after winning a round, which makes them a little bit less mobile. They do try the light aggression to begin with, but then they give a lot of space to AVANGAR. I think they have to keep pressing AVANGAR. We'll see if they change things up here.
It's really risky to go beyond the grenades. With the way we're wide swinging, he had to land that shot Gratisfaction. Ooh, he sees a cap, spots a cap, doesn't land the flick, however. As is lining up some grenades, but his position would be compromised. He's got no cover, so he's got to move back as well. Can't stand there and hold a grenade. You don't know what's around the corner by that elevator. Buster with a Molotov. Now we've got Gratisfaction and Azza on the B bomb site. Azza's been quite active though, leaving Gratisfaction in situ behind the smoke. Renegades got to keep things strong on the other side of the map, and James looking for something. Maybe he's got a sound cue. Looks like Sanji's going to boost him. That's such a strong angle for Jacob. So much cover from the mortar. Jacob's one distraction in the meantime. That activates Jacob. So AVANGAR seem to be getting stuck once again.
Beautiful setup from Renegades. This is exactly what they needed to do. Oh dear, reload coming in there. I didn't know that it would have made much difference. And I really like what both teams did this round. You had AVANGAR. AVANGAR have yet to really rush something, and so what they do is they show 4 players to Gratisfaction, like it looks 100% like a B rush. But then Renegades kind of realized, okay, they're not B rushing, and that's very confusing. I think AVANGAR really wanted to threaten it to get rid of a lot of early utility. But in reality, what happened is it played to Renegade's advantage because they had this forward setup here towards A ramp. That's a really beautiful setup, and that's a great way to deny if AVANGAR plays slow around the rest of the map. If they want to come back to A and that setup's there, they can't challenge that. That's so strong.
The Germans are very forward position. I was about to say Jacob's spot behind that mortar has been really strong, but seems it's been dealt with this time. The Krieg appears to be the answer. Head was squeezed like a grape. 2 players on the ramp here for AVANGAR, and Buster appears to be creeping elsewhere. keep an eye on what he's up to on my other screen. Oh, he's joining his team, actually. So it seems no one's here for the... Oh, no, we do have a CT up. Az is making his way over as well. He's got a teammate behind him. Instead of getting prepared, Liaz is holding a molly towards the B bomb site, but he won't be challenged anytime soon. And JKS has the angle with the second AWP. Flashbang for his teammates to peek, perhaps. Yeah, Az are having a look. Not seeing anything just yet. Spotting Keycut. Keycut's dead. 4 versus 3 for Renegades. More grenades flying through. The spray from Adren will work. JKS goes up 1. He's got a nice angle behind the box there. That crouch would cover him from a lot of flashbangs as well. AVANGAR struggling to get through these choke points now.
Yeah, they're really missing that extra smoke that we saw in the pistol. And another nice shot coming in from JKS, working that position like a dream. Another round for Renegades. And AVANGAR, where are they left? They still don't have... So they're not completely broke, but they do need one save here. So Renegades finally have earned themselves some breathing room off the back of some of these early round aggressions and great setups around the A ramp. So AVANGAR they need to change something up now, which is... So it's beautiful that we've gotten to this point, because it's become more competitive now. I was worried for Renegades, the way this started.
It almost looks like they have found themselves comfort now, Renegades.
Yeah.
Interestingly, on the eco, if you look at the pistol round again and the execute from AVANGAR, they have no grenades in the eco round whatsoever. Focusing on the Desert Eagles, trying to make it expensive. So this will be an interesting challenge. Sanji takes a big HE. Now they could try and abuse their numbers. Drake's cracked out, but no one's there to trade with him or shoot at the same time. Preferring to edge 1 by 1, it seems. But they're really going to try and dry this round out. Renegades haven't really used any utility whatsoever, which is fantastic for them, because one of the goals, at least, you know, when you've had limited success on the CT side, the teams are going to want to make it as expensive as possible. And part of that is those $600 incendiaries. For example, this looks a little ropey. There are some headshot angles to pop those grates, but doesn't look like AVANGAR will get much out of this round.
Yeah, and I was thinking, just back to that round where AVANGAR threatened a B rush for the first time towards B, and then they ran back towards A and got wrecked by this 3-man setup on the A ramp. I wonder if the point of that B rush was to actually make it so that Renegades couldn't have such forward positions on A ramp, and that they would have created an argument for those players to rotate out of that position in theory, in theory of the B rush. So whatever it was, Renegades are reading this quite well at this point, and they're really making those double orbs sing. Where are the rest of the rounds now for AVANGAR? What is the plan? What is the weakness in the defense of Renegades that will be exploited or could be exploited by AVANGAR? They've taken a tactical timeout to figure that one out. You can see lots of talk there.
Right, so AVANGAR don't have a lot of utility in this particular round. They might not need it necessarily to take those fights around the A bomb site, since they've got a Krieg, they've got the initial flashbang, and it's pretty much just duking it out with the player behind the sandbags or mortar, whichever one it is, and so on. Then again, we might see a fast play into a site as we would on a more traditional map when there's people alive on utility, but with Vertigo, we'll have to wait and see. There's a flash from Jane. Their angles. He's going to get taken out by Azza. There's a trade. That's a beautiful spray. Azza with 3 in a few seconds.
Oh, wow.
And this round may just be over already.
They got to find a way to deal with that sandbags position. It's done too much damage at this point. 1 or 2 rounds, sure, but it's been reliably good. I don't think you should be able to convert on it so heavily. Sanji and Adren in a 2 versus 4, and I mean, we saw previously Jame and Buster in a 2 versus 4, and they managed to get some position, and I think Jame picked up a kill, so they made it look doable, but it is certainly a difficult situation, especially with the AWPs. I think the double AWP factor really makes this kind of a situation nigh on impossible. JKS will be spotting the first place, spots an elbow, and doesn't need a... Yep, he's just nailed it, hasn't he? Great stuff there from JKS, looking very convincing.
Those are very expensive info peaks. I wonder if AVANGAR have run out of ideas. I'm surprised they almost seem like they didn't expect someone to be in that position unless the first person's role is just to wide swing and the other person's job is to deal with it. But I think you need a Krieg at least to deal with this. They were two right next to each other, just held the trigger down. That's going to be the tightest three-man spray down you're going to see anytime soon. All right, well, AVANGAR are going to be rushing towards the site. Another opportunity for Gratisfaction. Won't quite hit the mark, but he's got support here, and that's the main thing. He can hold position. Kika looking for Azza to jump up, and Azza has got stuff to deal with on the other side, but he has spotted Kika. There he goes. Gratisfaction now delivering the kill on the stairs, and Renegades are getting a really nice score in this first half.
Yeah, great recovery from them. And indeed, it seems like AVANGAR haven't really rushed that position before as well. So, one smoke could have made a difference. Who knows? If it would have ultimately. But you can see that the double incendiary play is already a setup there. You have the AWPer going a bit far forwards. You got the first incendiary can be thrown by the rifler, and then the close one gets thrown by the AWPer afterwards. So it's a carpet of flames that needs to be smoked if you want to rush that. And there's a quick incendiary, suspecting a rush. Oh, James unlucky for that not to be fatal for JKS. A leg shot, that would have been huge to get that. And look at this setup, like we can see with the X-ray, like 3 players on completely different positions looking at pretty much the same spot. That is extremely difficult to deal with.
Yeah, this is awesome, and I'm sure a lot of teams are going to be watching this with great interest. It's been a big question mark how to deal with that ramp position. And it seems now that Renegades may have found something for the time being, at least. Obviously, we'll need a larger sample size to see how good or brittle it is, but it's definitely causing AVANGAR some troubles. I don't know if they have a plan B towards that position. I think they're just having to go elsewhere now. Gratisfaction way too close for that one. Really awkward for him, but he still has position. Only one of the 5 players has flashbangs at this point for AVANGAR, which is going to make things really awkward.
Yeah, and it's a bit scary. They have falls back for the smoke. I was going to say, quite a dangerous position, so close. With no support. Oh, that is a bit disgusting, isn't it? Sanji goes down, trying to go through the door, and AVANGAR starting to pressure towards that B bomb site. I was going to say, one of the ways that they can deal with the 3 players on a ramp is that middle becomes weak, and with so many players committed deep on A, so good to see that AVANGAR have picked that up, but they've got 20 seconds to plant the bomb, so there's really a huge time pressure. Renegades realize this. They'll be leaving one player deep on A and gambling everybody else towards B. It's a good setup for Renegades. Big shots required from AVANGAR now, but they don't seem to be delivering them. It's all coming from Renegades instead. Jamer is the last man standing, and he is not in any position to really do anything but to save this AWP at this point.
Yeah, I can't see the Twitch chat, but I know what they're typing. Not that it really matters. Renegades in the leads. Full control. They pretty much shut down the A bomb site where AVANGAR want to go. In most of these cases, they're forcing AVANGAR to go elsewhere, and it's not really what they want to do, and it's not comfortable, as you can see. That is a beautiful shot from Gratisfaction.
Yeah, that was huge.
The door of opportunity isn't quite what I thought it was. Great stuff from him. But yeah, Renegades, a rough start to this half, but they've definitely found comfort. And this is a common question, at least in this tournament with AVANGAR on the T sides. When it goes wrong, how do they adjust? And they don't always tend to, as we've seen in how the swings on the Dust 2s they've been playing, for example, where they've had success in one example and just been bodied in the other. There's still a few rounds here to fight for, and they've got, well, it's a mixed bag. We've got James AWP, we've got 2 players with 4,000 plus and 2 players with 3 to 3,500, so it's an awkward spot for them. They haven't bought anything just yet. It's a timeout at the moment, or I think it's a technical timeout actually. So we'll keep an eye on what's going on and if the headsets come off. But other than that, it's looking great for Renegades now, especially moving into the second half with so much momentum. They have won 7 of the last 8 rounds.
Yeah,
which is quite the turnaround.
Yeah, for sure. I think that that kill last round from Gratisfaction was actually through the smoke was pretty significant because it was at a timing where Sanji was going through the door and the players from A were still not really present. So the split would have been really strong, and that single kill denied the split completely. So I think that was hugely impactful. And otherwise, AVANGAR have struggled to deal with the 3-man A ramp setup. You can see that a lot of their game has been kind of built around taking a ramp and then setting up around a ramp, but in Renegade's success of denying them that A ramp, they've been unable to find other good ways to deal with things. And obviously the mid takes.
The round is live. There we go. Sorry.
Really important, but here we go. They'll be making their way quickly towards A once again. This time James hits the shot and it's fatal.
Lining up for Azza again. This time we've got a wide swing and James got the angle already, but they've lost another player, AVANGAR. Well, they've lost a player, excuse me. They've got a man advantage now. But again, we see some adjustment from them as well. They've got to find a way to break open that ramp, and the second player having angle on the sandbags. Works out for now. What is the response from Renegades? Really hard to be aggressive, especially after losing a player on this map on the CT side. But Gratisfaction's doing it. He's jiggling with the AWP towards the B bomb site, but he's not going for a flank just yet. He's trying to get as much information as possible. Really rough spot for Renegades. Jacob with the AWP on the ramp. Looking for a player to go past the top. Could see Kika starting to jiggle. He's on the way. There we go. Oh, he's legged him. The HE, the fadeaway, is it going to land? It's going to do some more damage. Somehow Jacob escapes. That's the main thing for Renegades here.
Yeah, and Jacob still in a decent spot to succeed. Not a huge amount of utility. That's a great timing from Jacob. Bold plays, he's going to make them. That would have been even better, but can't find the headshot there. Lia's in a good position. Is there going to be a smoke for this? Yeah, there is. So this is going to deny this position almost entirely. We'll have to be sprayed through the smoke, but there is inherent risk in giving up tracer fire from that position. Flashbang over the top for Lias to dive in. Does his best, but Buster is more than ready, it seems. Gratisfaction now, last man standing. They're actually quite low. He finds James through the wood. And with that said, that Deagle might actually win this round. They are extremely low, these remaining players of AVANGAR, as Gratisfaction rounds the corner. Coming out, and Buster gets the headshot. So AVANGAR claim another one, and that will tie things up. But almost everyone has $16,000 for Renegades. Really tells you how much success they've been having.
It's really difficult for the CTs after losing two players. There's just so much danger, there's so much risk. The risk is really high in all situations. You can't really spot from a distance because of the nature of the map. You can't really spot, fall back and get a rotation and hold a relevant position. It's a lot more urgent than that on Vertigo. Very, very high risk. Again, we've got those initial grenades from AVANGAR, and Renegades will switch it up once more for the last round of the first half and drop the smoke. And they can post up behind it. They could do it quietly. You never know. Could put a flashbang in that smoke as well. So AVANGAR have to be careful. Very methodical rounds here on Vertigo. Very careful rounds. Lost to know where that goes. On the ramp behind some kind of cover, I assume. Pop flash for the teammates. JKS teasing a swing. He gets tagged though. I don't think he's going to escape this one. Of course he will. He's a Houdini apparently.
Yeah, it's looking really good for AVANGAR. Look at the positioning they have. Buster, that's a free one onto Azza. That is an exposed position, and Buster does even more damage. Now what do you do, Renegades? This is the last round. Do they try to take a big risk now to try to get back into this one, or do they just hold? I mean, it's a nice position from Jacob. I don't believe that we've seen them play this one just yet. Obviously, it's quite known by any Vertigo team, and AVANGAR will be closing in on this A site. Now, looking to run that set piece again, perhaps. They've only got a couple of smokes remaining at this point, so see Buster usually lurks for them, or has been on this map. Good on with the nades, and there they go. Jacob, it's all on him really. He goes for a precious peek. Oh my goodness, almost gets two.
Gratisfaction surely gets a captain kill there. Indeed he does. 11 seconds to plant the bomb, which has just fallen to the floor. 2v2, 7 seconds left. The smokes will be gone soon. James has got to commit to this. Liaz out in the open. The flick was almost there. 1 second. And the last round will be won by timeout. Liaz staying alive just around the corner. 1 round lead at halftime from Renegades. They won 8 from the last 10 rounds. Beautiful stuff from them. We'll see you after the break.
Welcome back. I stole it from you, James. I stole it from you.
I was kind of stealing it from you, so I think it was your turn.
Right, well, AVANGAR are looking to steal this from Renegades. It seems like, Renegades were down and out. They really were struggling on that first half to begin with. AVANGAR, they showed us a really tight and routine, very well drilled T side, but Renegades had the answers. And here we are, 8 rounds for Renegades and 7 for AVANGAR, so we couldn't really ask for a closer game in terms of rounds, but everything changes when we flip sides. Renegades, what do they have on this T side?
It really, really does. I still think if one team has been practicing something the other team is just completely unprepared for, in the sense that the map and the changes are relatively new, if you get caught off guard enough, it could be a very costly best of one. Comments from Flusher on Twitter before the match started. He didn't think Renegades should have gone to Vertigo, even if they win. In his opinion, the map is high risk, low reward for them as the big favourites in this match. And he sees them as better than AVANGAR on around 4 other maps. And again, I think with the history, like the age of Vertigo, and just the timing and the holiday and so on, where people are just nerding in their own
Time.
Yeah, in their own time, in their own offices and so on. I think it could be dangerous. Renegades executing on the A-bomb side. They've got the smokes up, they've got the angles, or, well, Kika's still going to find something. There's 3 players by his position spamming from the elevators, but a bomb will get planted. However, the Renegades have lost 2 players. They've got no answer to that just yet.
Yeah, they'll fall back to the ramp, but there's so many left here for AVANGAR that it might be quite difficult to hold off. There's a smoke that will be deployed, and that will really pressure the bomb. So they'll have these fallback positions, Renegades, but they'll have to go forwards to try to spam for this. They're not getting their connections. Buster just happily holding the defuse. And there it is, 3v3, but the round's been won. AVANGAR will pick it up with the defuse, and
I love all the carnage after the defuse. Everyone's just like, can I get some bonus money, please?
Yeah, and we'll see. I think Flusher has a really good point, obviously. It's not like a very level-headed tweet to make. And 4 MP9s coming out from AVANGAR in this follow-up rounds. So looking to get a bit aggressive, perhaps. Yeah, so with the Krieg. I like the forward smoke there from AVANGAR. That creates a lot of questions, as to whether there could be somebody behind that smoke, behind the bags of sand or mortar or whatever they are.
We're seeing a lot of second round Krieg on the Force Buy. I know it makes Sean Grills nervous. It is an interesting scenario. And I do wonder what the CT setups will be like on the buy rounds for AVANGAR compared to what we saw from Renegades. And I think Renegades were so solid in the setups that if AVANGAR have something similar, I would imagine Renegades will be better prepared, because it seemed to take AVANGAR off guard to a degree. Oof. And they had to adjust from round to round.
Look at this angle, James, with that Krieg. You can see why they've bought it. Like, you're not going to expect that that's not a relatively safe position. You got this gun on the round like this with extremely effective pixel peaks.
Okay, we've got the same smokes from Renegades. Smoke to elevation. You can see they're waiting for some kind of push or play through the smoke, and there will be one, but it won't be as successful. This is a force buy for Renegades, let's not forget. They're not in position to collect any of these weapons that have been dropped, so there's that advantage for AVANGAR. On the remaining players, there's only 1 helmet, so that MP9, those MP9s are going to be quite savage. JKS has a flash. I don't know if he's got an angle, but speaking of angles, Azza could be an MVP here. Has he got an angle to stop the bomb, though? He's playing the long game. JKS is going to go. Now it's just down to Azza. There is a kit, though. There are kits on 2 of these players. Oh, this is beautiful. He's going to go. These are lining up for him, but he won't be able to stop it. Can't find the head. That's so unfortunate for him. Surely it was 2 if he got the first one.
One of the problems is the landing and accuracy of the Deagle there. I think if he actually has a 5.7 or pretty much any other pistol, he's probably able to get it, because the landing and accuracy of the Deagle is one of the absolute worst in all of the game, of all of the guns. Because he dropped off that little ledge, and it takes quite a while to recover your accuracy. That's one of the most annoying things with the Deagle, because that can happen on much smaller surfaces, the drop off as well. So something to be aware of. And that is what a save from AVANGAR. They look like that Krieg. The presence of that Krieg was so huge. It was so dangerous. That single Krieg.
Let's look at the approach towards the
Oh, the spray comes in. Beautiful flash work from Renegades, crippling AVANGAR straight off.
Yeah, so we did ask questions about the CT setup. We've seen similar T grenades from both sides, but AVANGAR might be a little more brittle. That said, Renegade did start off with a difficult half on their CT side, so we'll have to see how it plays out long term. JKS looking for information. Renegade's not committing to anything just yet. Adren is alone on the A-bomb site now, so AVANGAR, they're being proactive. They're looking. Sanji is in a very forward position at the moment, but will he get there in time? Doesn't look like it. Bus is going to get taken out. Now the A-bomb site is clear, however, if Sanji's timing is good, maybe he can position himself to get two.
That's number one from Sanji. Not sure really if they're doing anything else other than a containment play of some description, and yeah, they will try to keep themselves alive. Renegades already look really strong if we compare it to how AVANGAR looked at the beginning of their T side. And it's somewhat similar in terms of the success. AVANGAR need to find an adjustment quickly. As soon as the adjustment came from Renegades, as soon as they got those double ults rolling, they seem to have great success. I think part of their success was AVANGAR's inability. Firstly, I think AVANGAR game plan, to some extent, got denied by these three-player setups on the A ramp from Renegades on that CT side of theirs, as well as, and it took AVANGAR, I think, a little bit too long to realize how to deal with that, and they didn't find too much success when playing outside of that A ramp setup.
There's a flash, so completely caught moving into an aggressive position, just trying to run for dear life in front of the sandbags as well. Caught in no man's land. Great timing from Renegades. Now we've got a mixed bag from AVANGAR, up to an AWP, down to a Desert Eagle. Gratisfaction up the ladder. And JKS is going to get taken up very, very early indeed. That's a nice and much needed early advantage for AVANGAR. But what is their response? Liaz going to fire some damage the way of Adren through the smoke, but Adren gets into a forward position. The Gratisfaction's in trouble as well. Oh, the HG's going to run for it, but he can't get away fast enough. Two unanswered frags for AVANGAR. I don't know if they can really rely on these situations round to round though, but for now it'll do.
So control is gained by JKM up to A site, and that will only really serve to cement the control. Smoke molly, lots of space created by JKM. Beautiful stuff.
Oh my god.
That is such an important peak, especially considering the Renegades haven't quite made their way up to A yet. Buying time here for AVANGAR and a 4 versus 2 to boot. Plenty of time, but the bomb will go down straight away. Has to behind these smokes before they go away. Liaz has to do something with this. Oh my goodness. Trying to make this one work, it's very difficult for Liaz, as he might just creep through this smoke. He's trying to find a way to get a play going. I don't even understand how he didn't die there. But looks like they'll all fall in the end regardless. AVANGAR, simply too many players coming in from too many angles. And there it is, another round going the way of AVANGAR.
That's so unfortunate for Liaz. The molly running low on bullets, quietly moving away, engaging Jane, running out of bullets, jumping down to reload, falling towards the third CT. So many small windows of opportunity. If just one had gone his way, then who knows? But such is life. 10-9 in favor of AVANGAR. Renegades are pulling out some more weapons. So this will be an important round. One of these teams is going to be broke afterwards. One of these teams may be able to pull away in the short term. AWP for AVANGAR. The same cannot be said for Renegades. Gratisfaction's got a Mac 10. JKS will squeeze out to UMP. That's a beautiful shot from James. One and gone, considering going back to the well, but quite comfortable with that first shot. Kiko's in position by the sandbag, so maybe James can reset and play off of him somehow. He could get Molotov though, Kiko, but you can see the angles being held.
Yeah, they seem to be so focused on James here, and that's going to allow Kiko to have all the space in the world, although that said, he's announced his presence. Oh, he might just get a chance here, but no. The T's were falling back there, which gave Kiko some room to have actually some kind of a 1 versus 1 that would not be so, well, completely fatal, but still couldn't get the kill.
I thought the flash was going to come from Adren a lot earlier in that situation. He seemed to be considering it, but by the time he threw it, his teammate was dead. I think it could have come faster. Unless I'm reading the X-ray wrong. It seems to be by those elevators.
Adren's really alone, but in this position right now. He is really alone. Flashbang will come in. The flashbang doesn't really work out. I don't think it flashed anybody, but Adren still gets the kill regardless. More flashes here, burning some time on the clock, but there's still plenty of time. So Leo starts to creep forwards. Adren. Oh my goodness, Adren is really being so annoying. He's just ringing around the rosy there for him. And Leo's can't quite find anybody. It's starting to look like AVANGAR are having a really good time with this.
Yeah, I think the CT rounds are looking very different to what we saw from Renegades, which is good. We want to see different things from different teams. The early pick from James, it didn't even go the way you expected with AVANGAR. They went beyond the sandbag position. James got taken out for free, it seemed. It was a different frag for Kiko. It was very back and forth round 8, to be honest. But I think it could have been worse for Renegades, even though they lost the round. If Adren maybe got a flashbang in, I think it would be hard to see from the positions the teams were holding if it went in the right direction. So maybe Kiko could have stayed alive for another frag in that situation. Either way, again, that round was an important one for both of these teams. Goes the way of AVANGAR now, who've put Renegades in Eco Town. Pistols being purchased. I don't see any flashbangs just yet, similar to the first deco we saw from AVANGAR in the first half. Seems it is focusing on the headshot angles. There are some nice angles towards the B bomb site where you might pop a grape. So we'll see if that's what Renegades choose to do. They'll be starting towards the ramp though. James has a look. There'll be an exchange of bullets. He's got to fall back, however. He's got his teammate there with the MP9. An easy first shot for Kiko, although he's half health now. Plenty of utility for the CTs to use, the smokes, the mollies, and so on. But Renegades are getting closer to the sites.
I'm just surprised James hit that flick. That was beautiful. James is quite an AWPer. One of the best in the CIS. We've got ourselves a 5 versus 4 in which AVANGAR have such... Well, where to even begin with the advantages. High flashes coming in, really making life awkward for Renegades. It seems unrealistic for Renegades getting anything more than maybe a kill here now. They are able to do some amounts of damage onto the AVANGAR players, but no frags just yet. Need to connect one of those headshots. I mean, how on earth do you get a bomb plant in a situation like this? I don't think that's going to happen. AVANGAR are giving up some space as they're getting tagged up, but ultimately it doesn't seem to be too much that can be done by Renegades. Well, yeah, it's last hope. One headshot, perhaps. Look at all the space that he's been given. Oh, there's the headshot. That is stunning. Good headshot. That's nice.
They're not too concerned though, AVANGAR. They have a 3-round lead now. They've got some comfort. This is certainly... nobody wants to be in a losing situation in this game. Based on the action yesterday, that would really suck. But someone's going to be. It's been a stressful... I think Vertigo is a stressful best of 1.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like, I really think it's kind of crazy in this situation. That's my opinion anyway.
Oh, I agree with you. It's definitely a bit mad. I mean, having so much experience on other maps really counts for something, but we can't go into that just yet. But still looking like he's in a decent position here. Hazard's not actually looking for him just yet. Obviously, he would be visible, but still from below. So he's very careful with the timing, and that's exactly why. JKS is the one from the stairs to take him out, though. Buster was really playing with fire, and I think perhaps because there's been so much focus around A, maybe he felt like he had a bit more liberty than in reality he could afford to take. And the creep from Renegades comes in up the stairs. They are communicating that this is a possibility. This is open. The bomb's making its way here as well. 3 players. So we're going to see one of the few B rounds, I believe. Although the smoke will be annoying. JKS repositions.
Yeah, they've established a lot of presence over there. But there's a minute on the clock, which means there's other things they could do. Azza falls to the flames, betrayed by the area damage just spreading to his feet, and then it was too late to make a decision. Sanji could be pop flashed in. Kiket's going to be the initial engager, so I suppose he could play off that. They are fighting a similar angle, but Kiket forced forward. So is Sanji by the Molotov. He's been spotted, but Jacob goes straight into his crosshairs. Somehow still surviving Sanji. Kiket's down. Is there a flash for him? He's holding on for dear life. Actually, there's no flashes left for AVANGAR, so he's going to have to peek eventually. Not going to work out. 19 seconds on the clock. Around the smoke, good by Jacob. The bomb's got to go down, and it just about will after the frag. Much needed round for Renegades.
That was really close. That really looked like Adren was going to get that kill.
It's wiry.
That was really close. I really enjoyed Sanji's focus there. You could see that he was in his, like, he didn't have to look where the Molotov was. He was always laser focused on that peak, locked into the crosshair placement to deal with the player that would peek him. Moves slightly forward, so after he gets tagged, gets the kill, and then starts getting tagged from the front and moves slowly back. He kind of understands the timing perfectly without denying his crosshair placement. But very fast frags coming in here from Renegades, moving in towards B once again. Obviously, one of the frags was towards the A ramp. And AVANGAR in trouble again. Nice shot from Buster, though. One more to go. Oh, that is so needed. AVANGAR needed one player to step up, and it's Buster. He's having a really good game so far, actually.
Not so easy to respond to this on the other side of the map. The way the map is at the moment. The forward smoke grenade. We've got the anti-plant Molotov if he holds left and right click, I suppose. There it is, trying to delay. Off the rail, I respect that. But there's mollies from the Renegade side as well to hold position while they plant the bomb elsewhere. We've got the flank from Sanji that's been activated. Gratis Faction moving around the smoke, not finding anything. Kiko in an elevated position. Liaz in a sandwich, not good for him. Gratis Faction's got to be careful now. Not all the cover in the world while he tries to get some work done. And now it's down to Jacob on the ramp. Took out the flank of Sanji. Not on the bomb just yet. Oh, jumping pass. That's a huge risk from Kika. They're both in the red, but they're both still alive. The reload from Jacob. Buster creeps in the meantime.
Oh my god.
The spacing is perfect for AVANGAR. Jacob trying to keep an eye on things while reloading. He was caught with his pants down. That's a huge round for AVANGAR.
Yeah, that reload, I mean, from our perspective, looked so brazen. It looked like he felt like he was way more safe than he actually was. Obviously, the player close to him can hear the reload, and sometimes at this level, you wonder if that reload is a bait, because if you know that a player is close to you, you can reload and then just quick swap your gun, and then that player swings in thinking that you're reloading, that they can get an easy kill, and you just eliminate them. But no, it's just a straight up reload from J-Chem. So misjudging that situation has cost Renegades a lot in this one. But again, we have to credit Buster. Buster, they went down 3. That was a 5v3, James. And Buster came in, got 2 quick kills. Here is the first couple, and then swung in towards that A bomb site to pick up 2 more. So he managed to pick up 4 total in that round. In a horrible situation. That's a really bad round for Renegades to lose. And not only that, what an impactful game from Buster. I haven't seen him play this well so far this tournament.
Yeah, he's 21 for 10 at the moment. Jacob must have read that the other CT would be around the corner near the lifts, but unfortunately for him, he wasn't. Jacob doing 360s up the ramp. I don't see that very often. And he still gets the shot as well onto Jacob. Jay being very, very dangerous. Flick, but doesn't connect this time. He'll fall back to anywhere from the T's perspective. You never know what angle's being held. Gratis Faction could get caught off guard as well. Just about surviving that one. I think Kiko should have got that frag. But here we are, 4 versus 4, instead of a big advantage for AVANGAR.
A nice forward spot from Azza. It's really annoying when a T gets to that position because it can provide so much presence, can really lurk effectively. Buster, he's the hard man to deal with. Does he have a smoke? Yes, no, he doesn't. He's going to be forced out, and of course he nails it onto Azza. He is absolutely in the zone. Looking for another one. The flashbang's good, but JKS will weather it. Down to 5 HP though, and Liaz is there to back him up, but they have only a flashbang and a Molotov remaining. That's all they have, Renegades.
Look at Gratis Faction. He's made his way through the A bomb site just in time. Liaz was on the ramp with the bomb, and now they can rotate because he's gone so deep on the A bomb site thanks to the rotation of AVANGAR. Sanji's position may be interesting. JKS is going to get taken out. So there's a man advantage for AVANGAR on the retake, and Renegades are going to have to find an early kill somewhere, surely. Although again, Gratis Faction is in a good position.
So running her by Greta's faction. So they know exactly where they're going. Here is the flank from Greta's faction. Or actually, no, going for the forward play. There's a molly to deny positioning, but they'll have to push through it. Into the crossfire they go. Adren goes down, and it's up to the 1v1 now. Liaz looking really strong here. Sanji swapping out for the Krieg. He's got to land a crazy shot, but Liaz take him out. And another round for Renegades. It's tight, though. It's real tight. There's a lot of players to lose, and the buy's going to be awkward for Renegades because of that.
This is really going down to the wire. No money for AVANGAR now. Very, very well timed flank, or rotation rather. Push through the A-bomb site. Here's James getting active early. You can see the pressure from the beginning, considering how the game started and the deficit Renegades were facing. It's been really, really stressful. There may be some grey hairs after this one. And they're still 2 rounds behind. A dangerous buy from AVANGAR, a number of grenades. Some have been deployed, a lot of CZs as well. If they swarm, if they burst a position and Renegades aren't fast, they could be in a lot of trouble. What do the anti-ecos and anti-force buys look like on Vertigo? We are about to get a clue. 2 helmets on the 5 players, so maybe Azza can do something with this MAC-10.
Yeah, this would be a crazy round if AVANGAR was to steal it, or if something was to go wrong for Renegades. Their money's really bad. They have to survive with the most players they possibly can. Here comes a quick play in from the AVANGAR team, and they managed to get themselves a spot on the bomb. They've got it down and a kill, but Liaz will respond with another one for Renegades, giving them the man advantage. Bomb easy to recollect, and they're just playing for that rotation now. There's no utility for AVANGAR, so they shouldn't really be able to do anything else. Obviously, some of these close-range positions with the CZs and the Deagles can be problematic. The AVANGAR shouldn't be good for any more.
Renegades are being meticulous, but look at the flank from Adren. Buster and Sanji activating, and Adren's flank is still unknown at the moment. They're having a look though, they may have heard him. There's a trades all over the place, and it will go to AVANGAR. As soon as Renegades started pushing the site, Adren went down the ladder, but he had so many corners to check. You never know, somebody's lurking, waiting for that rotation. While that goes on, Renegades, they spend so much time on the ramp, setting up the grenades, looking for a play, but they don't have map control to know what's going on elsewhere. So Adren's getting closer and closer. That's before those frags come in from AVANGAR, then he capitalizes on them afterwards, and again, there is the bedlam. That is not a round they should have won.
Oh my god. Sanji got 4 kills there, James. Ooh, that should not have happened. That is a huge problem. And if we go back to, Flusher's tweet, we definitely can start to see that, should Renegades lose from this, but we can see the pressure that's on Renegades. We've already seen it out of the frustration we saw from Jacob, but here it is. Sanji's already got 2 kills to line up there with the CZ. It couldn't be more perfect. That couldn't have been more perfect for Sanji.
Again, the timing with the flank as well, to run distraction. That's exactly what I said. If they swarm or just burst from a position, you can't calm anything fast enough, especially with CZs. It's going to be a massacre.
Oh man.
There's still a buy for Renegades, but it's a force buy. This might be last chance saloon for the Oceanic squad. Mostly Oceanic. 3 rifles and some pistols. Liaz is naked. Probably donated a weapon to a teammate. It's not the best buy for either squad, but AVANGAR are much better equipped. As long as they've got flashbangs, those MP9s could get nasty. Faction's made a lot of inroads. Adren's jiggling, but what can he really do from that position with the MP9? They need to abuse the numbers now, AVANGAR. With the equipment they have. Oh god, that grenade, I don't know if it went as far as it was supposed to. Bounced backwards. It hasn't quite dealt with the choke point. There's going to be a huge gap there. But Kika will be taken out. That's one of the big guns taken away. Adren wide swinging with the MP9. Double MP9 frags. This is 50-50, but there's a man advantage for AVANGAR again.
Yeah, they have an incendiary on Adren as well, which could cause some problems. It could be a toss towards that ramp to deny some of the peaks. Incendiary will be tossed forwards, actually, to deal with the closer positions. Nice shot from Jakem. There you go, another one with that AK-47. He has to do everything here, as we have the Famas coming in from the back. Jane with the MP9 looking to swing on Jakem. Has to survive, though. Needs to activate Buster in the flank. Here they go, committing to it. Jakem gets the 1v1s, but Buster is the one to win it, but without the kit. In time, there's no chance. What an important round for Renegades. That's a hairy one, but it goes their way in the end. But their money's still, still, James. Everyone's dying, so they win the round, but they're going to have a terrible buy again.
Well, importantly, AVANGAR are back in Eco Town, but they've got less money than they had previously. The Krieg that Buster has is a problem. Ooh, AVANGAR are going to force it up, actually. They've got a 2-round lead, so they know Renegades are weak, and they're going to try to capitalize on that and buy around the Krieg. The CZs are out once again. Renegades have really got to be careful if they play a slow round. They've got less utility to move with this time, but they need that map control.
Maybe this is because of how they won that previous pistol round, where Sanji got the 4K. Maybe they feel like there's a lot of weakness in the way Renegades played against pistols, and with a couple players souped up on rifles, maybe they would have an even better result. We'll see if that's the case, because we can see that Renegades are trying to go towards that A-bomb site once again, and it makes a lot of sense. You can control more variables typically with the utility. Flashbang comes in. Keycurt's good for one. That was a pretty close one as well, but he gets it. So 1 for 1. The rifle can be collected. Somebody, yeah, there we go. Dren picks it up.
Yeah, this is a similar situation where Renegades are all on the ramp now, but this time Dren's on the high ground. He's not flanking, and Buster's still far away, so they're not gambling too much. Buster's being left on the B bomb site with the Krieg. So this one could work out better for Renegades. They've got to molly some smokes. You can see AVANGAR are positioning for maybe some kind of pop flash play or just some kind of general burst where they all swing together. Buster's still not rotating. That would be really crucial. Sanji's taken out. He was the man with a flashbang. A Dren with the M4 is going to have to try and move back. Jane taking bullets, but he's still alive. Now at this point, maybe it's time to save the Krieg. 2 versus 3. If Jane gets something, then it's game on. If he doesn't, the closer Buster gets, the more committed they become. He's picked up a rifle as well, James. So can they take a calculated risk and try and even the numbers? James on 23 HP, it's got to be really careful. Buster has a kit, so something can be done here, but again, they need a frag soon. At what point are they at the point of no return? Seems they're going to back off now.
Buster was trying to bait a peek from Liaz there with that one bullet. It's quite cheeky. It feels like it's on such a knife's edge, and it's so ballsy to go for plays like that, because if he dies with that Krieg, that is, and the kit and everything else, that's actually pretty impactful if we consider exactly what we're dealing with here, which is more or less what should be a full save from AVANGAR. But because they have survived with 2, it's a shame that Buster didn't find any pistols to pick up, because he could have dropped one of those to his teammates. I believe that the other player that saved the rifle did have a pistol to drop, so one of those CZs can be given away to Jame. But for Dren and Sanji, they're going to be stuck on USPs. But hey, we don't rightly know what will happen in this round, given some of the success AVANGAR have found with the pistols. It's hard to predict, but JKS makes some fast inroads towards the B stairs. And Buster is curious. 25 for 12. What a performance from him so far.
What did they try to do, Buster and Keycurt, in this particular round? Again, it's such an unusual, unconventional map. With the verticality, you don't really have those horizontal planes that you have on pretty much all the other maps. They're very lacking on Vertigo.
Renegades committed towards B, maybe. Actually, they'll find a way to fall back out. The bomb is still in no man's land. But they're 3 versus 5, James, and AVANGAR just have pistols. And Renegades have not made inroads to a bomb site yet, and there's 50 seconds left. How long will it take them to get into a planting position? Okay, well, Jacob's he's just sorted that out. So that's good, and he goes beyond the smoke.
Well, he kind of has. There is somebody ahead of that smoke by the elevators, but he'll say that was open. The crouch peek from James makes all the difference. 4 versus 2 now, and 3 of the players have got rifles. We've got huge problems here for Renegades, getting punished through the smoke. The tracers leave Liaz in a horrible position. He could be triple peeked in a few seconds, and where is the 4th player? Avoiding the flashbang. Buster baiting out Jane, but he won't be able to get the duel. They get 1 kill in that round.
Yeah, that's crazy. They lost 2 players on the extremities right at the beginning to his rifles. So AVANGAR's rifles were placed in the absolute perfect positions. Buster towards B, and I think it was Keykurt towards the A bomb site. They both pick. Well, Keykurt picks up a frag towards A ramp at the beginning, and then we see that Buster swings. Buster was also like gaining information. He peeked like 2 times before actually getting that frag, found his moment, and then it's all of a sudden a 3v5 for Renegades, and they have 50 seconds left, so they just, you know, amble towards that A bomb site. Jacob's kind of committed to make a play really quickly to get some map control, because otherwise they're going to run out of time. So desperation strikes.
We need to look at this current situation. It is match point for AVANGAR. Renegades, JKS had 4,800. Jacob has enough to buy an AK. They're not all going to have rifles. Again, it's been such a difficult round. I feel like all the rounds have been clawed for in this game of Vertigo. This is not going to be an easy one. They have a reasonable level of utility, but there's been so much frustration. 5 rifles versus 2 rifles, and it turns into this. We've got double Krieg and AWP for AVANGAR on the CT side. Looks like it might be a fast one for Renegades, or at least they'll force AVANGAR to burn utility early. But it's all advantage AVANGAR.
Yeah, they've been so good on this map so far today. Again, Buster's performance, I don't think anyone would have expected him to just light up the scoreboard and win some very important rounds. But speaking of important rounds, can't afford to give anything away here. The creep from Renegades, JKS makes his way up as he has done previously. So it's not the first time that AVANGAR have felt presence towards this position. But how much is the question that they can't exactly know. Going to hold on to their nades as long as possible. Dren no nades, Buster 1 incendiary. So the nade situation's weak here for AVANGAR.
2 CTs on the bomb site. We've got smokes up. So there might be a bomb plant. Jacob just has the bad timing. Now, did the rifle go off the side? That's a question, or can it be collected? They would really need that. The bomb's being planted. Can they hold position? We've got Buster going around the side. Gratisfaction's in trouble. This is really nervous for Renegades. Less than 10 HP for Gratisfaction. He's picked up the AK. Okay, the AK is still in action for now, but again, he can take no bullets in this engagement. JKS off to a good start. He's going to get traded though. Liaz holding angles. Buster popping out. That's a much needed frag. 3 versus 3. There are 2 kits on the 3 AVANGAR players as well. Liaz is so close. Beautiful frag from him. That bomb's really far ticked down. Liaz has got to stay alive. Gratisfaction, a man of 9 HP. How is he the last one standing? Somebody's got to get on this bomb. Is there time to defuse it? I think there is. That is the end of the line in this game of Vertigo for Renegades. A good effort in that final round, but they came into it ill-equipped and just couldn't make it work.
Clutch stuff from James. He knew that he had to do the dirty work, close range with the AWP. Gets 1 kill and collateral damage. It goes in for the other 2 kills, close range with the AWP. That is beautiful stuff from James right at the end there. But